Hey everyone, this is Randy from BibleBuyingGuide.com. I have received my KJV Reader's Edition Bible from the KJV Store, and this is not a review. I actually worked on this Bible, so I'm not going to review it, but I will show it to you. And this is my first look at the finished product. I worked on this Bible for 500 hours, but I've not seen the finished product yet. And that's one thing that is a little scary about publishing, is that you can see the concept on screen and have 500 hours in looking at this Bible, but not know what it's going to look like when it's in print. I come from a manufacturing background, and I'm used to prototyping. I don't get to see the finished product before we say yes, go ahead and print. But here we are, my first look at this, so I get to see if it's actually what I had in mind or not. First of all, that box is amazing. I did not develop this box. This was Lynn from the KJV Store. He did this part. That's awesome. That's an awesome box. So what we have here, I'll just go ahead and tell you what this is a paragraph KJV, and it has offset text for things like poetry, special formatting, lists, letters, prayers, parables, dreams, visions. It says 11-point font. Let's see, it's between 10 and 11 in that range. It's a Monarcha, which we chose that font. We being me and Lynn from the KJV Store. Designed and typeset by 2K Denmark. I'm actually the concept designer, so I gave my concept to Klaus at 2K Denmark, and they put it on paper for us. And so they're the typesetter, and they actually put my concept on paper. Genuine split calfskin liner, goatskin leather lining with an edge line binding, 1-inch yap, and the cover also was Lynn. Rounded spine, which I like, the Cambridge Hollow, the Oxford Hollow, mixing my words. So in the back we've got our friends at the Trinitarian Bible Society allowed us to include their reading plan and glossary. I'm just going to go ahead and rip this open. It's cold. It's been on a cold UPS truck. It's cold in my house. And my neighbor's doing some work outside. We have distant neighbors. We're in a rural area, but distant neighbors, and they're doing some bulldozing. So you might hear some of that in the background. All right, let's see what we got here. So there's the goatskin leather. Get this out of the way. That's a good looking leather. So this was all Lynn, KJV Store, full yap, all the way around. As far as yap, I don't really have a preference between yap or non-yap, but this was Lynn's choice, and it looks great. Of course, he did ask my opinion, and we'll see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 raised hubs. That looks good. I like the look and feel of that. It's a very soft leather. It's a little bit, not necessarily a thin leather, but it's a very flexible leather, a little thinner than some of the other editions that I've seen. So here's what the text looks like. 11-point Monarcha. Yeah, that looks pretty. That looks pretty, if I do say so myself. Now I'll show you what we did here. We have the verse numbers in the inner margin, and there's a space between the verses so that you can tell quickly where the verse, a cat running across the top of my house. So you can tell quickly where the verses start and stop. Just let that cat get done with its zoomies real fast. So in a way you have verse by verse, because you have the verses that are lined up as normal, but then you just have to scan across the page and see where the verses start and stop. It's easy to do, especially once you try it for a little while, get used to it. So this is printed and bound by Jongbloed in the Netherlands. Typeset by 2K Denmark. Concept designed by me. And published by the KJV Store. So it was a team effort. Let's see what we got in the front here. There's that crimson red goat skin with calfskin liner, edge lined, There's our presentation page. 32 GSM paper. This is a premium paper. I like that. My hands are cold, so it's gonna be hard to turn pages a little bit. Here we go. So there's the front, what I call the publisher's page. Concept creator, general editor, Randy A. Brown, Bible Buying Guide. Design and typesetting, 2K Denmark. Typeface, 1011 Monarcha. Paper, cannot pronounce that, from France. Bible maps, 2K Denmark. And printed and bound in the Netherlands by Jongbloed. KJV Store Reader's Edition with sacred syntax, and that just refers to the design of the design of the layout. And then I've written a guide in the front telling what all the things are and how to use them. I'm going to zoom in just a touch. How to use all the formats in this Bible, all the things that are there. Now this is just going to be a quick overview. I'm going to do a deep dive into all these formats in a different video, and I'm also going to compare it to other Bibles. So here is Genesis. So we have a wide inner margin to bring the text out onto the flat part of the page. So we have red for the verse numbers, black for the chapter number, black for the primary or major headings, and then secondary headings or subheadings are in red. And then you'll see the formatting as we go. And just because it can get confusing or it can become difficult to follow when you're not really sure what it is you're looking at, and because there's so many different formats and things like that, we've added letters just to jog your memory. Except for in poetry, we didn't bother with poetry because poetry is beautiful. Poetry is poetry. Down at the bottom of the page, we have the book name, chapter numbers, and the page numbers. And this is because if you're looking at artwork, in a museum, the art is, all the information about the art is at the bottom of the painting. So that's what we did. And then here we have a letter. Have a little LE to jog your memory. That's a letter, so that it stands out just a little bit. Not a lot, just a little bit. About a medium dark font with lots of space between the lines. It is line matched. The show through is a little bit more noticeable than what I'd like, to be honest, but at the same time, and you can only do so much with a dark font, and when we have this much not printed on the page, we have a lot of white space. And then you'll see semi-bold. The semi-bold text is quotes from the Old and New Testament. So I'm in the Old Testament, this is quoted in the New Testament. In the New Testament, you'll see the same quote, and it'll be in semi-bold, and it'll show you, like right here, it'll show you that this is quoted from the Old Testament. There's one of the book endings. If it's a poetic ending, we've kept that poetic format. If it's not a poetic ending, you'll see that more straight. So I can find an example. Daniel might give us an example. Pull that onto our flat part of to our camera. Let's see here. Here's a vision. It's got a little VI there for vision, and it's got its own format. Each thing we marked or that we labeled has a different type of format. So we have visions, we have dreams. So there is the ending of Daniel. So if it's not a poetic ending, then you'll have a prose ending. This is a prose ending. Comes down to a point. And then, as you saw a minute ago, it is red letter edition. About a medium darkness and then the red. I like this Monarcha font. So this is the first time that I've seen the Monarcha font in print. So I've just only seen this entire Bible, I've only seen this on my screen. There's a parable. Now sometimes they're short, so we just have a little something there to tell us this is poetry. There's parable. Sometimes they're only a line, so it doesn't quite stand out as much as it would. And then here is another parable, and there's another parable, and another parable. So they stand out just a little bit. So it's nothing crazy. Didn't try to overdo it with too many things. Actually, I tried to overdo it with too many things, and Klaus at the KJV at 2K Denmark would not let me. And he was right. He was right to do that. And then here's another ending. So we have poetry in the New Testament. Lots of features all the way through here. But hopefully none of this just stands out and looks awkward or anything like that. The idea is that it's readable. You can read this without distraction. The verse numbers don't get in your way, but you can find the verses easy because you have extra space. And then in the back, I've developed a quote index. So I marked everything as I went and labeled everything as I went. So I was able to just use that information to build an index. So we have an index to show us the verse in the Old Testament and where it is marked in the New Testament, where it's quoted. And then it goes back and forth. It goes in both directions. New Testament and where it's quoted from in the Old Testament. So you have quote index back and forth. And then the pages are not hard to turn, but my hands are cold. Word list. This is from the Trinitarian Bible Society. And then a reading plan, also from the Trinitarian Bible Society. This is the Machine plan. And the reason I say it's from the Trinitarian Bible Society, they have a booklet that is free with all of this in it, and they allowed us to use that booklet and print it in this Bible. So that's what we did. And then in the back we have the 2K Denmark designed maps. And this one does not have an index. I was always against not having an index, but in this case you don't need an index. It's actually easy enough to find what you're looking for. These are designed well, they're clean, they're simple, easy to use. So everything's just easy to find. So no index is needed this time. So that is that. That is my Bible. I'm the guy who made this Bible with help. So we have about 5.5 by 8 3/4 by 1 3/4. It's actually this is about my favorite size. My perfect size would be thinner, but you can't have that many pages. You can't have that many formats and things like that and make it thinner. So our weight, oh no. My wife has been using her scale again. I'll tell you what. So it's 2 pounds, 7.5 ounces. So for me, I feel like this is a good shape and size to be used for reading. I'm going to try it for preaching. I don't know what it's going to be like for preaching. I think I'm going to be able to preach from it, but I'm going to try it and see. But I've not been able to test that, so we will see. We shall see. So hopefully this Bible will be a blessing to you. Hopefully this Bible will cause you to read the KJV and get the roadblocks out of the way and just make it easy to read. That was the plan. That was the goal. My goal was to create a KJV that elevated the beautiful language that's already in the KJV, but to put that on the page, to make it look as beautiful on the page as it is to hear. That was my goal. So I will do a deep dive later. Unfortunately, the first printing, 750 copies, have already been sold out. But I did hear from Lynn. He is going to do a second printing. So hopefully that'll come sooner than later. And when that is announced, I will come back with some more detail about this Bible to help you decide if it's the right Bible for you. So that I will leave there. And if you do have this Bible, then please let me know what you think about it in the comments, if you've been able to use it. That is my first look at a Bible that I worked on for 500 hours. I like it. I like how it has been presented on the page based on what I specified. So yeah, I'm very pleased with this. So thanks for watching. And if it does come back in print soon, I hope you're able to get it. And if you're not able to get it, then please hold on. There will be more. Thanks for watching.